The Dorm Disorder podcast contains real stories, adult language, and occasional chaos. Some content may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised. Now on to the episode.
Hey everybody, we are back again with another season and a new episode of the Dorm Disorder Podcast. Just like always, we are back in that same moment where we need you to like. And if you like this, make sure you share it with a friend. And if you want to see these episodes as they're coming back fresh this season, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Now, we're going to have a few twists and turns and changes this season. We're inviting you to join us once again, and I promise you, we've got some great stuff coming. As always, I'm here with my partner, Dan Glorious.
What's going on, Mike? Dorm Disorder Part Der. That's 2 in French for everybody out there. Der.
Whatever. Man,
Dorm Disorder is back in the building. We're back. So excited. After we took the time off, I'm like, I really want to get back sooner. We're back now. We got some exciting things planned for everybody. But we had a long break. So how you doing, man? How are things?
I got a new job, people. I got a new job, and I don't have the same dorm disorder time I used to, but you best believe I'm still putting it in, and I want to get a very robust season in this year. Definitely bringing in some new guests from other schools again, and definitely building on our Girard community as always.
Absolutely. Partnering with the school. We've been on campus a lot more. People might not know this, but we've seen each other for months after we've been done. We've been hanging out, showing up at Girard, talking on the phone, talking through text.
I went
to your Christmas party, right?
You did come to my Christmas party this year.
So we've been hanging out and getting some things together. But I'm super excited for who's sitting here with us. They're off camera right now, but they're about to come on. I'll let you introduce our guest today that we're excited to talk to and who's agreed to come on with us.
Well, of course, last season we started off just talking the two of us. We forego on that this season. We want to follow up where we left off at one point last year, bringing in one of our awesome, amazing teachers, John Martino. Thank you for joining us this episode.
You said
we are
just
very
the way
happy.
I wrote it. Awesome, man.
Tino!
It's $20 well spent.
Yes.
Listen, before we begin, we kind of got to watch the clock. I got a former student in the trunk that I got to get out.
Oh, wow.
It's an inside joke for everybody watching this. I won't go any further. I'll stop there.
I can't even.
It's all good.
I needed that.
All good. No, I'm happy to be here. Happy to be here. As we talked weeks ago, my years at Girard, I treasure, absolutely treasure. I taught 34 years total, and the 5 or 6 that I was there, without a doubt, pinnacle of my teaching career. Love it. So happy you guys invited me in.
Well, thank you again for joining us. Well, let's dive right in, and I'm going to start you basically where I start any other student, any other person. How is it that you came to Girard?
It's really happenstance. My first job out of college, I was a data processor for Prudential, and just putting numbers in, just number crunching, and it was boring as heck. And I decided, I always wanted to be a teacher. My father was a teacher growing up, but it never paid anything. So I thought, I did what most kids do in school and out of school. I chased the money, and, you got to be happy. You can't wake up in the morning saying, oh, I got to go to that job.
Yeah.
So I decided to, pursue my dream of teaching. You didn't need a certificate if you're going to a Catholic school or a private school. So I went to Stella Maris in South Philadelphia. That was my first teaching job. Little Catholic school, taught 7th and 8th grade math.
Wow.
And just one day at lunch, I was just perusing through the classified section, the help
That's
wanted,
awesome.
So
and I saw Girard. Yeah.
So for the young people, we used to get these things called newspapers, and then the back of the newspaper there was a whole section for jobs. We call that the classified section. So
yeah,
the young folks have no idea.
and I just happened to glance on math teacher, Girard College, and it was like a headhunter place that was looking for somebody. And I was 22 years old. I had no idea about headhunters.
Right.
So I end up interviewing, and I get the job, and then of course the headhunter actually hunts down my head. And, there's a fee. And so they weren't paying us much to begin with. And then I got hit with the fee, but literally it was just happenstance. It really was. I mean, but truth be told, it doubled my salary. Catholic school, they paid nothing. So
really,
I come to Girard, and I thought I hit the lottery at 22 years old.
Your story is different from most, because most people either were working at Girard as a house parent or an RA, and then went into teaching, or they knew somebody that was working at Girard College, and that helped them get a foot in the door. So I was joking around when I asked you if it was the one ads, and then you're like,
it was. It absolutely was. And it wasn't like I was looking for something. I was just, sitting in the faculty lounge. We were all talking, and I just happened to see math teacher, and I thought, well, it's got to be more than a Catholic school. I know it's not a public school, but it's got to be more than a Catholic school. And I jumped on it. And one of the things I asked in the interview was, is there tuition reimbursement? Because I actually wanted to get my teaching certificate. So I didn't have any certificate. And I mean, you look at like Kazempel, none of those guys had teaching certificates. They were history majors. Fish was a math major, and none of them had teaching certificates, which is probably why they landed at Girard. But I wanted to get my certificate, just in case somewhere down the road I wanted to go to a public school, or where I did land eventually, or get my administrative license. So I stayed at Girard, went to Eastern University, and got certified on top of that, and got a master's degree. But again, those years at Girard, I absolutely you can't, and we've spoken about this ad nauseum over the course of the last month or so that we've talked. You can't explain to anyone Girard. No. Yeah. You can't. You just can't walk in. Like I years at Pensacola, and I could easily say, yeah, you know what, it was great. You had a prep, you had this, and then after school, then you had to do this in service. Girard, and the kids went home. Maybe you tutored them, but they went home. You never saw them again. Girard, it was just, you had to live it, to experience it. That's why it's such. Anytime I run into someone from Girard, I'll talk forever about it. I run into somebody from Pensacola, it's, hey, how are you? Oh yeah, kids good? Okay, hey, great to see you. Good luck. Girard, it was just one huge family, and you really had to live it to know what it was all about. Loved it, loved it, loved it.
So let's talk about some of your family members that you brought in, or that came in around the same time as you. The school was going through a transition with a lot of younger teachers like yourself coming in. Yes. And you mentioned a couple of the names that were already there. But what was that like, having these older teachers that had been there for some time as your mentors and bringing you along, and the younger teachers that were that were your peers?
So at that time, I'm sure you guys knew they were going through a financial crisis. The board of trustees, I mean, they were, you guys knew you were wearing the same pants and taking the hems down when you grew. We had the same textbooks. We used to complain about, these textbooks are ancient. They're old, right? They're older than this, that, and the other. So I think one of the avenues that the board of trustees went down was, you know what, we've got a number of older teachers. They've been here a number of years. Let's eliminate them, bring in these young whippersnappers for, half the price. You come in at an entry-level pay scale, and you're getting rid of people that have been there 20, 25 years. And, you cut costs that way. Right. Because here it was, when you're at Girard, it was year to year. You signed a year to year contract. There's no tenure. Like when you're at public school, after 4 years, you get tenure. And, short of running up and down the hallways naked, you're keeping your job. You know, unless you do something absolutely grave in a public school, once you get tenure, you're pretty safe. But, you know, in a private school like Girard, it was year to year. You signed a contract and they could get rid of you at any time during your, you know, the course of your career there. And that's what they did. They got rid of, I think, 7 or 8 teachers that were making a good salary.
Yeah.
And then, brought us youngsters in, myself, Miss Grace, Miss Crusillo, Miss Watson,
Haggerty.
Yes. Yeah. It was, it was like 6 or 7 of us. Bass.
Zaleski was technically.
Zaleski. Yeah. She, when she watches this, she's going to go crazy on your pronunciation of.
So I've been racking my brain to try to figure out what teachers left. What year did you start? Because I'm trying to think what teachers would have left.
I came in.
Wagner, maybe Miss Wagner.
No.
Wagner was my mentor. She was a math teacher, so she was my mentor.
She was
I know.
Tough.
I can only remember.
She was tough.
Oh, she's scared.
I mean,
And her mom and the.
I was about to say, her mom was worse.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, they were scary. There
Yeah.
was some scary, and she was married too. And I used to think, oh, that poor guy. That poor, we only had to deal with her for a few hours a day. He had to deal with her for the rest of. Yeah, she was tough as nails. Yeah, and mom was tough too. But I can only remember. Only because he came back to visit every now. You remember Mr. Ray? His last name was Ray.
The gym teacher.
Yep.
Yeah, you guys grew up with him, right?
I think he was one of the ones that they let go. But the other ones, I didn't have any interaction with them because they were gone by the time I got there. But the crazy thing, not the crazy thing, but the surprising thing was, and I remember we had an orientation, myself and all the young teachers, and we had this orientation, and they gave us lunch and we were sitting there talking. And I know, there was a lot of nerves because you're thinking, boy, we're replacing 7 or 8 veteran teachers. And there's still a good handful of their colleagues still here. Mm-hmm. And we were so worried about how we'd be accepted.
Yeah.
They're going to look at us, we don't know what we're doing. We're first-year teachers. We're young kids. Hey, where's the bathroom? Where's the faculty room? Where's the lesson? Where do we hand in lesson plans? And we were so apprehensive about being shunned. But I'm telling you, Leak, Kazempel, Fisher, McInerney, Gallagher, they were so welcoming. They took us under their wing. And they were absolutely fantastic. They were the complete opposite of what we had anticipated.
But you also had some, who were your peers that came in, and how did you all get along as a group?
We were all 20 somethings.
Right.
So, almost every Friday we went to happy hour. The old Rembrandt's that was down the street, we would sometimes go right down Corinthian, make a right on Fairmount. We'd hit the New London. Then we go to Rembrandt's. We go to Bishop's View, the Black Taxi.
That was just bar crawling, huh?
We were
only on Fridays. Huh?
As I've said to you guys before, now, I can confess at 61 years old. Teachers are some of your biggest infidels on the planet. They are. They're some crazy people. They know how to have fun. But yeah, every Friday, for almost my entire tenure there at Girard, we were like 15 peas in a pod. We went everywhere together every Friday. Again, I still see, like I said, Medora, and I still see Kazempel and Ottinger. I still talk to Bill Gallagher. It's amazing that, you make friends at work, but you don't make really close friends most of the time. But Medora is one of my closest friends. And that was all because of Girard. So that group of us and our veteran teachers, our mentors, our older peers, we were thick as thieves. Bill Gallagher, he has he's a knight at Knights of Columbus out where he lives. And whenever the Christmas break was, whatever that Friday was, or whatever that Thursday was, we drove all the way up Broad Street to his place. And we were there 6-7 hours. He had it catered for us. And
wow.
Oh, it was fantastic. Yeah, we were
spoiled.
Very much so. Very much so. Yeah, very much so.
Billy Banks Gallagher.
I know.
Who knew?
Listen, I'm telling you, once he
Catered
took that
events?
pocket protector out of his shirt, all bets were off. Yeah.
Crow hop. I'll never. Every time I played baseball, you got a crow hop.
Get
crow hop.
He was,
Never
but
forget
he
that.
took everything. He was, he had the blinders on for it. He was so focused on everything he did.
Yep.
Love that guy.
Yep.
Absolutely love that guy. Miss him.
Yeah.
Miss him. Yeah. I wish he and I still kept touch, but I see him at Founders Day, and every now and then, I'll find out what he's doing this Saturday, but love that guy. Absolutely love that guy.
He's awesome.
So you also had a couple other guys you used to hang out with besides Ralphie, Mr. Medora. Ralphie.
We love Ralph.
We love Ralphie.
We love Ralph.
And what do you call him now? Chewbacca?
Chuba, yeah. like you were talking earlier, he's got more hair on his back than his head now. He does the comb over from his beard.
Now, did his nose get any smaller?
It did not. As a matter of fact, and maybe we'll talk about this later, but I brought him over to Pennsauken. When I got the job at Pennsauken, he went to Gratz, and I brought him over to Pennsauken. And it was great that he joined us. You talk about his nose. The parking lot behind Pennsauken, it wasn't the biggest in the world. So every now, I could park my car in one of his nostrils if there weren't any spots. It was like a two-car garage up there.
Yeah, easy.
No,
easy.
It did not. It's same size. Yep.
Hey, look, the nose. Ralphie had the nose, man. We
He
love
still
you,
does.
Ralphie.
Yeah, we do.
We love you, though,
Ralph.
bro.
Right? You only hurt the ones you love, Ralph. Yeah, but he's still kicking. And a matter of fact, he's an assistant principal, and he'll probably be a principal of his own school next year. Believe
That's
that?
awesome.
Ralphie,
I-
principal, in charge.
I mean, no, I don't believe it.
Even he doesn't believe it. He doesn't believe it. But we love Ralphie. too.
Well deserved, though, and
Yeah.
well earned.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. He was always a hard worker.
Yes.
Always a hard worker. Yep.
Yes. And always broke. Yeah. I didn't get too many detention from him, but I got a couple. One of the people that did give me detention was another friend of yours. Teacher I actually admired a lot. Great teacher. Was really good in math. Mr. Thompson there.
Mr. Thompson.
Yeah.
Another principal. Retired, but another principal.
How?
Here's the crazy thing, Michael and Dan. For years, all of my friends would say, you've been a teacher for all of these years. Don't you want to be a principal? Don't you want to be in charge? And to this day, I still say the same thing. I respond the same exact way. Dealing with the kids as a teacher is, you have your issues, but dealing with adults, as the principal's got to deal with the teachers.
Yeah.
And they are the biggest pains in the rear they complain about everything. So yeah, I never wanted to be a principal. I don't know how they got into it. I guess they just got, tired of the classroom or, don't like marking papers, this, that, and the other. But Mr. Thompson, love him to death too, but he always had he was power hungry. So I think that's why he went down that route.
I just remember him always. I got two quick Thompson stories. One is he always wore his softball or baseball team T-shirt, and they had the worst name. I really want to say a word we can't use anymore, but it would have been commonplace then. But they had the horrible name, the Fun Guys.
Yeah, the Fun Guys. Yeah.
Who? Why? The Fun Guys? And Thompson gave me detention at probably the worst time in my life. So Thompson's class, you could not sleep. You can get away with it a little bit in your class, Medora. Just if y'all were having a good day, you might let a kid snooze for a couple minutes and just call on him at some point and make sure he got up. Not Thompson. You close your eyes for more than 30 seconds, detention, the end.
Right.
This is a problem when one of your students has mono and cannot stay awake. Cannot stay awake.
Right.
Couldn't stay awake first, second, third. I could not stay awake, but I had to stay awake in his class.
Right.
No matter what. And if I did doze, bam, detention every time.
Yeah.
So the month of October, 1993, 4, yeah, I got detention like 3-4 times because I just couldn't stay awake. So Thompson, I hope you asking people how they doing instead of just giving them detention right away.
Or Thompson, if you were a little more charismatic in class, maybe they won't be falling asleep.
That too. It was a little boring, but you got the point across.
I do want to ask you a question because we're talking about people who became principals or directors of schools. How about Eddie Gallagher coming back? I know you were gone by the time he came back, but like Eddie's not a person I saw at Girard as a student that was going to reach the levels he has. So big ups to him for everything he's been doing and giving back to Girard and running the school he's running now. But did you think Eddie Gallagher would be in the position he's in now?
He was, so, you always know kids and you look at them and say, they're 15 going on 30. They were always wise beyond their years. And Eddie had that characteristic. He was always asking questions. I mean, constant. He was like a sponge. He just wanted to know. And he had that, what we called want to. He just wanted to. He wanted to do this. He wanted to know that. So I am not surprised at all that he has reached, the level that he has reached. Yeah. But a funny Eddie Gallagher story. I hope he's watching this because even to this day, every day during the winter, he would stop Medora and I in the hallway and he'd say, cold enough to snow? Cold enough to snow? And whenever I see him, I say, Ed, is it cold enough to snow? Is it cold enough to snow? He always wanted a day off from school. So every day in winter, it's supposed to snow this week, right? Do you think it's cold enough to snow, Mr. Martino? Is it cold enough to snow? Yeah, Ed, it's going to snow and we might have a day off. So, Ed, it's going to be cold enough to snow, my brother. I still say it to him to this day. Yeah,
maybe he should have been a meteorologist.
I mean, he did like bow ties, right? He had a bow tie phase, I believe.
Oh yeah,
a short one. So him and Hurricane Schwartz could have been getting it on. Hanging out doing some meteorology.
Do either one of you know why? I mean, he would have been the perfect fit for the presidency.
It is a very touchy subject.
Okay.
As to why that did not happen, but as with most things, Girard, the people who are not in the school running it are the people making the decision. So the board of trustees made that decision, and it was a wrong one. But it is where we're at, and Eddie's moved on, and he's doing great where he is. But yeah, you're right. I think having somebody who went through the school and was there for as long as Eddie was, it just makes sense for that to happen. It just
it's amazing. You would want a Girardian to take care of Girard, right? It absolutely
not if you're on the board of trustees.
Yeah,
you don't.
They know better. It's any board of education I've learned over my 30 some years of teaching. A lot of them don't have any educational background, but once they get onto a board of education, now all of a sudden they think they are experts in education.
Right.
No background whatsoever. Well, I'm on the board of education, so I must know something about education.
Yeah.
Put a Girardian in Girard. It's crazy. I would never go to a dentist that doesn't have any teeth.
Yeah.
Right? Unbelievable. All good. All good.
So how is it that you wound up, why'd you leave?
Complete and utter transparency. I chased the money.
Yeah. Okay.
I got married, was about to have my first child. And my dream had always been for my wife, the mom, to stay home and raise the kids until they were in school themselves. And then if she wanted to go work. So we were about to have our first child. And, Girard wasn't paying what I needed to support a family. I was going to have more kids after that. So, yeah, it was with a heavy heart. It was with a very, very heavy heart that I left. But yeah, I chased the money.
And no opportunity to tenure, right? I mean, that had to play a part.
Oh, it did. And
year to year is not very safe to raise a family.
And you have to look at the long term also. There's no pension. So I retired from Pennsauken with 29 years, 34 overall, but with 29 at Pennsauken. And, you know, I have a pension. You know, I live a month, I get a check. I live a month, I get a check. Had I stayed at Girard, and again, one of the most rewarding and satisfying years of my teaching career, but had I stayed at Girard, I'd probably still be working.
Well, Martino said, I'm a provider. I'm a provider, and I need to provide. So
it was either, listen, Michael, it was either that or start dancing again.
Yeah. Thank you.
I wasn't in that great shape back then. And I burned all my thongs. So,
and OnlyFans didn't exist. Otherwise, you could just do that. Right?
Now I'm too old for that.
Martino's OF page.
Yeah, all my former students, right?
Somebody's like, but is it really there though? Actually, you know what? I can think of at least 2 female students that probably would be like, for real, Martino got one? No. Yeah, they'd probably be looking.
Okay, well, give them my number. Tell them I'm single.
Oh, yeah. You see, I was about to say something, but we've already decided we're not going to talk about that.
Yes.
We're not. We alluded to it. I think that's enough.
Yeah.
I think that's enough.
Ralphie, let's go back to him because you two had something else in common besides being the math teachers. You all did something else after school on the side.
Yeah, we were coaches. Yes, we were coaches. And that, again, was, I hate to keep using the word, but that was happenstance also. We became extremely good friends. His first wife, and we kid because he got married again. And we kid him all the time. You know, you did it again and again. So his first wife, believe it or not, was best friends with a young lady that I was dating at the time. And we were in the lounge. It was like October. And he mentioned his wife. And he said he was from the Northeast. I said, oh, I'm dating a young lady from the Northeast. And I said her name. And he said, that's my wife's best friend. That's my wife's best friend.
Crazy.
So that's how we made a connection. And then we ended up going out on like a double date. And it's funny because Ralphie and I sat there and just talked the whole time. And they we never talked. There was never a foursome conversation. It was Ralphie and I. We became extremely good friends. And he wanted to continue it. So when basketball season started, he just says, hey, I don't know your background in basketball. I had no background in basketball. I played high school and college football and ran track. And he said, you want to be my assistant coach? And it was more because he just wanted to play.
Right.
That's all it was. You know, after practice, I told my wife I'd be home at 7. Practice ends at 5:30. Want to run down to Rembrandt's real quick? So, we ended up coaching. We took those trips to Hanover for those tournaments. And you know, those were the greatest weekends we ever had. The host families would take the girls.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And we'd have our own hotel room, and we had a stack of money that, we were supposed to spend on dinners for the girls, everything. But the host families
did all that.
Yeah. We didn't see them until game time.
Host families.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
How
they
lucky
arranged
were
for
you
them.
guys, though? Coaching Kim Ford and Michelle Kennedy, 2,000 point scorers.
Kim Ford was, she was lights. We would just say, all right, clear the side. And then Kim would just go one-on-one. And if they tried to lag or put someone else on her, she'd dish to Kennedy. Kennedy would hit a 3. And it was, we were spoiled. We were absolutely spoiled. But every year we'd get to the playoffs and we'd come up against Jenkintown, which had, 5 cookie cutter girls with blonde ponytails and one girl who would be 6 foot and
just play like robots.
We'd end up losing. Man, I remember Soulberry too, right? Didn't we play Soulberry? Was Soulberry school we played? Yeah. They had this girl Lana who was 6'3", but that's all they had. And we were always fearful of going up there, but we beat them every time. But she was fantastic.
Shout out to Superstar.
Yeah.
Superstar, Kim Ford.
She was the best. She was, and a great athlete. Great. She could, you put a tennis racket in her hand, she could play tennis. You put a golf club in her hand, she could play golf. She was just a fantastic athlete.
Were you coach when the unfortunate were going to a playoff game and she got off the bus and the security guard
hit her
with the van?
No.
Broke her leg and
When was
she
that?
missed the
It might have been after my.
Yeah, I want to.
say
No,
it was
I
her
think because
sweat.
I think you were still there when I graduated. Like, were you going by 94?
I left. No, I left. I started teaching at Pensacola. My first year there was 96, 97.
Yeah, so it had to be
I don't
92,
remember.
93. I think it had to be.
I
Maybe
thought it was
there.
closer, like her junior or senior year.
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, it couldn't have been senior because I was there. So it might have
Her
been-
junior.
Yeah, yeah.
Refresh my memory.
She was on the bus and they were getting ready to leave, and then she forgot something. So she ran off the bus to go grab whatever it was, and the security van was pulling, didn't see her get off, and I think she ran in front of the bus. I forget how
She
it
ran in
happened,
front of the bus. I was
ran in
sitting.
front
I was
of the
sitting on
bus.
the left side. Yeah,
Yeah.
she ran in front of the bus.
and yeah,
Pack.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's terrible. Basically, the van ran over the whole team.
yep,
Yeah.
essentially,
Yeah. Yeah, she was something. She was something to watch.
yeah.
And such a great student, wonderful personality. You know, she could, she was the whole package. She was the whole package.
Yeah,
I heard she steals hats though.
yeah, yeah. She didn't steal it. I gave it to her. And it's funny you bring that up because this beautiful hat right here, my wife bought me to replace that hat. So, you know, I got a new hat out of it, so I'm not complaining.
Okay.
It's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah, she came for a visit. And Joe was like, oh, let's go meet up with her. So we went to the hotel. We met in the lobby, and I had my Sixers hat on. She's like, I really like the hat. She put it on. I'm like, and then she, and in Kim Ford fashion, can I have this? What am I going to say at that point? No, give it back. So I'm like, no, go ahead, take it. No, she's good. She's good people.
The
So,
best. And she's
yeah.
she's down in Georgia, right?
ATL, I think
Okay.
that there's a lot of Girardians out in the
A lot
ATL.
of them. A lot of Girardian people out
Yep.
there.
You have been listening to the Dorm Disorder Podcast. Until next time, lights out.